Awesome, awesome.
If yeah, so this Jesse asked me to jump on and do a talk here about there's some things that I've found that is really working in the social media space when it comes to leveraging video and getting attention and driving your audience to you and into social media, right? So we're going to talk about some do's and don'ts as far as leveraging social media to grow your business, and we'll definitely talk about more of the do's here. I'm just adjusting my screen to give me everything I need in front of me here. So just give me a second. But the one concept, like I talk about a lot, I usually start a lot of these, calls this way, is to kind of hammer home a point when we're looking at a realtor and their social media, right? And the number one thing I always say, and it's just a concept that you have to wrap your head around, which is nobody cares you're a realtor until they need a realtor, right? So if you can understand that concept, like if nobody cares about the real estate market until they need a realtor or they specifically have a question about the real estate market, right? So a lot of the content, a lot of the stuff I'm seeing from agents and their posts is very intensive of like, I do real estate. And here's where there's a couple verticals I can prove this out on, but it just picture, 97% of your audience does not need to buy or sell a home right now, right? So if you could wrap your head around that concept of most people you're communicating to don't need to buy or sell. And probably that other 3%, it's probably a lot more than that, are realtors as well. So if you look at a lot of your posts, if you do you'll see, I hate this post, but like this selfie at the closing table, right? Nothing says like I did my job like that post does. It's not about the clients. I'd much rather see videos of the clients doing the testimonial and telling you how awesome you were, and you could take that and put it on your social media as opposed to, the selfies at the closing table. Walkthroughs in a house with you being the main attraction of the walkthrough. Like stop doing that. We want to make it from a consumer standpoint. I'm looking at houses. It's about the house. And I promise you, poll your audience. This is something I do all the time. And I would challenge you to do this today. I had a guy do it last week, and he already drummed up a new buyer from doing this. Ask your audience what they want to know about, right? If you go through my Facebook, it was a couple months ago, I posted I was at New Jersey at the beach, and I was like, hey, look, I know a lot of my audience here is not in a position where they're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. However, what is something that I can give you of good content that you would be interested in? And I was actually surprised about some of the comments, right? Some of the stuff that people wanted to know about. Hey, I'm not looking to sell for 10 years. What improvements can I make to my house? Does adding a bathroom, like just go through the comments. You'll see it. You'll just get a lot of content that they're going to give you to shoot videos about to put back into the marketplace. I think the biggest mistake we do as realtors is assume that people care we're realtors, right? And I'll give you, I apologize. Like Dietrich, I know I know some of you on this call, some of you that don't. I'm going to quick kind of recap how I got into this position, how I'm talking about how you should do what you're doing. I started a company called Credit Mindset 16 years ago. The whole premise of the business was to help clients improve their credit score to get in a position to secure financing, right? You had a 580 borrower. We jumped their scores up to 650. Just to get them a pre-qual, they close, right? So fast forward many years, in 2017, I decided I was going to make a push into social media, right? Went all in, got the studio. I'm in my studio now, green screen, video production. I'm like, I'm going all in, and I'm going to help the realtors grow their business, right? So no one really helps the realtors. The loan officers will go out, and if they want to grow, they just say, hey, you got a deal, I can close quick and I got great rates, right? That's about where the value add starts and stops with most loan officers. and rightfully so. If you understand the marketing around a loan officer, if they want to help and grow their business, they have to talk to a lot of realtors, right? And I hear a lot of realtors say, well, I never get any business from my loan officers. If a loan officer was able to give as much business out to the realtors that they need in order to grow a successful business, they should just pivot and be a realtor, because that's a lot of business. So with that in mind, let's support the realtors' growth in their business, and then more mortgage business will fall in place. So in 2017, I made a push into social media. I said, look, I'm going to have lunch every day with somebody. This was January 2017. My assistant, Aaron, at the time, was supporting this. And I would go out to lunch every single day with someone that could refer me business, right? And by March, she's like, you got to stop. We got to hire somebody else. I ended up tripling the credit business in 2017. But here's what I did in the process of that. I met with a ton of different business owners from all different businesses, right? I tried to understand and figure out how I could help them grow their business. I was leveraging the social media platform to do that. Yes, I was getting credit repair clients, but you know what I was getting? Pre-approved clients. I was getting clients that just needed a loan officer. They needed a realtor. I was getting the referrals first. They were coming to me first. And then my first initial from a business mindset was like, all right, I'm creating mortgage opportunity. Let me figure out how to monetize on the mortgage side of it, right? So I'm doing this marketing vertical into social media. It's creating buyers or pre-quals. And then I was just handing the real estate out. I handed out over $3 million worth of business in 2017, north of that in 2018, because my focus was on the mortgage piece. Fast forward, AnnieMac, I'm a business development manager, 14 loan officers on our team that I'm helping grow their business by helping realtors grow theirs, right? 2019 comes, I'm going, all right, I'm handing out a ton of real estate. Like, I'm just going to make the pivot. Even the realtors that I'm referring it to are like, you should just get your license, right? I didn't necessarily want to become a realtor per se. I'm in the business of that transaction. So I went and got my license in June 2019. I had $2 million of referrals in escrow commissions waiting to be paid as soon as I got my license. I went under contract. When I drove back from Harrisburg, put a house on the market, went under contract, did another almost 2. And in the last 35 days, I had 1.7 million close in real estate deals. Actually, I have 3 closing this Friday, which will close that up. So I did 7 transactions during this pandemic for 1.7 million, all from behaviors, obviously, I set in place through social media prior to this. So I'm teaching you everything that I've done to get me from that position where I'm growing a credit business, creating mortgage opportunity, pushing mortgage business, creating real estate opportunity, and now coaching the realtors how to bring that all together and do it yourself. And that's why I come back and say it again, like, no one cares you're a realtor. None of the people that called me cared I was a realtor, probably even knew I had my license, to be honest with you, but they knew I was someone in the space that they needed to reach out to. I get so many messages if you're not getting deals in iMessenger, you're missing the ball completely, because that's where all my leads come from, is iMessenger. But no one cares until they need you, right? So what message are you putting out there? So my posts, I always have the 3-1 rule: 3 personal to every 1 business. So you want 3 personal. So who are you as an individual, so I can get to know you? And oh yeah, I think Brian said something about credit or buying a house or refis he talks about. I'm not really sure what he does. Hey, Brian, we're looking to buy a house. We're first-time home buyers. Can you help with that? My credit should be fine though. Absolutely. Get your pre-qual, go show you houses. So that's how I get my business, is by giving back, giving information to my clients, to my audience. If next time you do a post too, just check to see who's liking your stuff. If it's just a bunch of realtors, you need to completely reevaluate your social media, right? It should not be other realtors liking your stuff. It's not your audience, right? You're not selling. I mean, you're transacting with other realtors, which is cool, but they're not giving you business. So I wouldn't focus on that. So, and the other thing that is super important during all of this, right? And I'm going to help you stop your business from looking like, an hour heart rate monitor, is there's 3 behaviors that you should be working on at any given time, which is prospecting, working leads, and closing deals, right? And I'm going to challenge you all, every single one of you. If you don't have one, you need one. And if you don't have have one, get one. And if you have one, use them more, which is a transaction coordinator. Like you absolutely, I don't care if you do 2 deals a year, you should have those 2 deals have a transaction coordinator, because we're talking prospecting, working leads, closing deals, right? Once you go and get the deal, you're under contract, you get the agreement of sale, hand it off to your transaction coordinator and go get another one, right? That I call it minutia, like that work of this doc chasing down this, calling the township, getting this, that, like that should not, I get it, that's part of the real estate transaction. That's what you learned in school, and that's what you took classes on, is to learn how to do that. Well, that's the least important part of the real estate transaction. The reason I say it's the least important part is because if you don't have a deal, you don't have that part, right? So the only important part is lead acquisition, not lead processing, right? So you want to focus your behaviors as the face of your business on the behaviors that generate the corral into the pipeline, and then put the people in place to help the pipeline flow. I personally could not. I would tell you right now, no way in hell I would have been able to do those 7 deals if I had to do all that stuff. I wouldn't have. I mean, I may have gotten through it, but I would be hating life. So I'm able to continue to prospect while those deals are working. So get yourself a transaction coordinator if you don't have one, and it's well worth the investment. I'd overpay them. I just send her Venmo money randomly because that's how important she is to my business. So do that. So talking about prospecting, right? I'm going to give you 2 really important concepts when you're prospecting, and then I'm going to talk about the IR theory, which is the secret sauce, if you will. The first thing is, when you're prospecting, I would spend all my energy on spotlighting other businesses. Don't even talk about your business, right? So I run a page called Best of Quakertown, right? This is my town I live in, Quakertown. I do deals all over the place because my credit business brings them in from all over. But as far as hyper local, which you should all focus on, is I run Best of Quakertown. Here's how it goes down, right? You guys should have this up by this afternoon. Shoot a quick video on your phone. Hey, Brian Offner here from Best of Quakertown. I want to spotlight some of the businesses that really stepped it up during this shutdown. What are some of the businesses in our area that have been going above and beyond to keep you guys sane during this process? Please put them in the comments below. I want to thank these businesses directly, and I want to go out when the time allows. I'm going to go out and spotlight them. I'll talk about Zoom calls. You can record Zoom calls. I'm doing that now with a lot of businesses. You just record the Zoom call and post it out. They're called spotlight videos is what we're doing. So I go out, I spotlight all the different business owners, the salons, the bars and restaurants, the tattoo shop is the next one we're actually shooting, car dealerships. So Brian Offner is going out as the guy that runs Best of Quakertown, right? Not the realtor that runs Best of Quakertown, not I do real estate, blah, 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 blah. The I do real estate portion is the last aspect of it, right? Because I promise you, you have to be self-aware, right? We'll talk about the IR, but like if you go realtor, and then really good message, a whole bunch of people never got to the message. I promise you. If you went really good message, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a realtor, your stick rate and your audience is going to be a lot higher. And that's any business, to be honest. I mean, it could be attorney, message. I didn't even get to the message because I don't, attorneys are annoying. So until you need one. But so that's like my focus is spotlight your community. I don't know if you guys see, like Laura Irwine, we've helped, Nicole Klein. So Nicole Klein, she's KW Mainline. We shoot her series called Moms of Haverford, right? So we go out and we'll spotlight. So we'll schedule literally 3 or 4 shoots in one day. And that's a beautiful thing about leading Apex Media and the production company I started. I dislike marketing companies so much that I just started my own. And it's a lead loss. I never charge my realtors anything. We come out, we shoot the videos. All we ask is that we figure out a way to do business together. We help you grow, send some pre-quals to Jesse, and this thing just keeps rolling. So that is the main thing we do, is we go out and spotlight these other businesses. So Nicole Klein, I mean, we'll go out and shoot 4 businesses in one day. She understands that prospecting is the most important thing. She also understands that if I spotlight other business owners, Now I create what's called link juice. And I'd write that term down because it's one that I found quite fascinating conceptually, where if I want to gain access to a whole nother network of people, what value can I add to basically the gatekeeper to that network of people? Business owner, right? If someone comes to you and you're a business owner and someone says, hey, I'm an insurance agent, I got really good premium, blah, 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 from A to Z, I can help you. And they referred you a client, or they gave you something, they added value into your world. Would you share that person's information? I think all of us know the answer. We all do. We all have that trusted professional that we share our information or our clients with and refer them. We want to do that in our local community. So the barbershop, the salons, we're spotlighting them. They get to know you personally. And all we ask is say, hey, we're going to spotlight your business. We're going to drive traffic to our page, which is going to create opportunity for people to be aware that you're here. And then if the opportunity presents itself, or if someone's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, can you just share my information? Or if I drop a video, can I tag you and you just share it with your network? That's a secret sauce, right? And then you just watch your iMessenger, and I promise you, there's a term that I use for this, right? I call these karmatic deposits, right? If you think of it like, when we're helping and spotlighting other businesses, I'm not putting a matrix in place to track like effort, leads, close deals. Like that is not that system at all. 100%, not even thinking about what's in it for me, right? I'm just using a little bit of karma and a little bit of logic that says, hey, if I go out and I spotlight 20 business owners and I add value, do I think they're going to try to reciprocate at some point? I already know the answer. That's how I'm doing the business I'm doing. The answer is absolutely yes. They're going to look to give it back. So in our mind of realtor business mindset, it's consumer, 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 right? And I got to get in front of a ton of consumers that don't need me right now. Well, why not leverage a business owner who has a bigger group of people that trust them and use them to drive business into you by doing the right thing? And more people are going to recognize you. You'll pull business off of that page. And here's the other thing. Don't connect it to, I mean, it's going to be connected to your personal page, but if you don't have multiple pages, like I'll show you mine real quick. You go in your Facebook, and if you guys don't know how to create multiple pages, just message me and I'll help you set it up. But like right there, the top credit mindset, and the second one's best of Quakertown. I've got 16 pages. So I got best of Quakertown, Offner Homes, leading Apex Media. So you could just put other ones on there. You want to create, like, let's say best of whatever, best of Philly, or I'd go more neighborhoodish if to really dial it down to like a hyper local. You could do best of Philly, but I'd probably dial it down to more of whatever your niche is in the city limits. Because obviously you could pull from anywhere in the city, but make it hyper local because people like that. And then, yeah, so then you're gonna do the best of page, spotlight the community. I said, like, once we're allowed to come out, like, we'll come with you. Like, we'll bring the whole production team. We'll shoot the videos. I talk about things being light and heavy. So light is right, heavy, you're not going to do it, right? So you have to get comfortable doing things that you haven't done before in order to get results you haven't gotten before, right? It sounds kind of cliche, like even just saying that, but it's totally true. Like, you go to the gym and work out for 2 months, you're probably going to feel and look a little different than if you didn't go for 2 months. It's probably better. So your business and prospecting is the same exact way. Is how can you add value to other people in order to keep them engaged with your content? Because I promise you, like, people will unfollow you. People will just stop following your content if all you're talking about is how awesome of a realtor you are. Like, literally no one cares, except for other realtors that just are doing the same thing. So that's what I would challenge you to. So the one thing I want to talk about is, this is super important to tie in this all together, right? Is like, I don't know if it's my IR theory, but I use it. So it's called IR theory. I is us as individuals, and R are these roles that we wear throughout the day, right? So I'm, a realtor, a father, a business development manager, president of credit mindset. I'm a friend. Like I have all these roles that I wear throughout the day. And I is Brian Offner. Like you're getting me. Like I'm just, as you kind of fine tune this thing and being self-employed for 15 years, I found it's the easiest thing to be is me. And just, that's just the most authentic thing is just be myself in all the roles that I wear. Right. What I don't want to happen in your role of realtor is you identify who you are as your R, right? My buddy does it. He's an attorney, Johnny I. Esquire. He identifies as his role of attorney, right? His wallet even says he's got his Coach wallet with his name engraved in it, like Johnny I. Esquire. Like the dude is loving the fact that he's an attorney. Now, granted, he did well. He made partner, bought a $400,000 house cash. He lived with his parents till he was 36 years old. But he missed out on all these other roles that were important, like father, like, husband. So he kind of sold out to that role. It's the extreme case of it. But what I'm talking about is your Facebook only being that role. I want to know who you are individually. I want to know on your Facebook page. Any of you guys go to my Facebook page right now? It's probably my kids in the background or my kids in the mix, my wife, myself. I play disc golf. Like you'll know who I am within 2 minutes of like looking through my stuff. There's no guesswork involved of who I am, right? That's kind of the feeling I want my clients to get is that, hey, if they refer someone into me, and let's say I don't know who they are, but they're feeling me out, right? They're basically getting to know who I am. The fact that they were referred to a realtor, I'm going to assume that they know that I already know how to real estate, right? That would be kind of common sense, right? If you're getting a referral in, you would think like, I don't need to prove to somebody that I can close deals and get you to the finish line. I'll give you an example. Here's a super case in point example. This deal just closed last Friday. I go to honestly, my first like competitive listing appointment, right? All the other ones were layups so far. This one, I know there's two agents, two seasoned, Tim and Shree, two seasoned listing agents, and then me coming in like this. So they're interviewing the three of us. The one agent comes in, tells the sellers, hey, all I got to do is throw this sign in the yard and your house will sell, right? That was her pitch. The other guy comes in with his book that he wrote about real estate and with his nice little folder and his whole listing presentation. He thought he killed it, probably did. He does it. I walk in and I was last. They had already gone. Now, here's the thing. It was a husband and wife situation. They were getting divorced, right? The wife, I'm coming in from the wife's side, right? So the husband's kind of standoffish, like, who's this dude on your side coming in? Tim was on his side. So he already had his realtor come in. And now here I am coming in the mix, trying to now the husband is also buying a house, right? So we got a listing situation. Wife's going to just move back home, reset. Husband wants to buy a house and move in somewhere. With not a ton of money, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So I go into the listing presentation, and I just show up, right? And I'm like, look, this must be a tough time, right? You guys are going through a divorce. I go, I'm going to be honest with you. I throw this house on the MLS. It's probably going to sell in, I don't know, it might not hit the weekend, right? I don't care whose name puts it on the MLS. That's the environment we're in right now. But what I'm concerned about is getting through this contract between the two of you, staying as cordial as possible and helping you guys both get through it without any kind of headbutting. Let's try to make this as smooth as possible. I know Ray, my client's name, is trying to purchase a house on the other side of this. And I said, hey, I know the wife doesn't give a crap about anything that he's trying to do after, but I'm going to navigate all of that to make sure, Ray, you reach your goals of financing through all this and try to time everything so it works. And my other client makes sure that, she's getting everything and we're going to get the house on the market and sell it as quick as possible. So all I talked about there was I stuff. I didn't talk about my role as a realtor and how I'm going to sell the home. I talked about, I have a background in family counseling and behavioral health, so that might have helped a little bit, recognizing we have a behavioral thing here in this transaction that could either make this a really difficult transaction, or if I start throwing stuff up out front, making sure that I call them upfront contracts, where I'm just kind of talking through things in real time to get through them, to get everyone to their goal. So I know her goal, I know his goal. I'm going to navigate to make sure they get them to the finish line. So needless to say, not needless to say, but like taking that approach, they chose me to do it, right? So not only now do I have to sell the house, which again, I put it on Tuesday. We're under contract on Friday before the weekend with a KW agent who's awesome. And I loved his approach. He called me up and he's like, look, I want you to take the house off the market right now, because I have my buyers already lost 2 houses. They want this house. Let's make it happen. So like, I like that about realtors. This is what I don't understand. If you have a listing, or your job literally is to sell the other agent of why your client should win the deal, right? Not be like, I get it, you're trying to get the best deal for your sellers. Obviously, like, you can do that with having good dialogue with both sides. I feel like that makes it the smoothest transaction. Some of the like goofiest ones I had, it was like the listing agents were so tight with stuff. And you're like, what do you, like, why? This is a deal. We're putting a deal together. We have to talk through these things in order to make it happen. I think realtors' egos just get in the way of making things a lot easier, harder than they should be. But nonetheless, my buyer now, who's the house I know is going to sell super quick, I got to find them another house to try to close on the same day. USDA 6% sellers assist in this market in my area, like, ridiculous. Like, that's I mean, you're probably in 5th place in most options. So luckily, I mean, we were able to find a house that was sitting on the market for a little bit, go under contract. You know, Jesse did the loan. We put it all together last week. So just kind of talking about that deal in itself. The I won that deal. The human part of that conversation won that deal. The R lost it for those other agents. The fact that they were so worried about their role as realtor, that's why they lost that deal. They probably have 50 years combined like real estate experience, and they lost to a dude that just had his license for 7 months, because I didn't talk about real estate. I talked about the emotional part of this transaction and how we're going to get through it. They already know I know how to do real estate, right? They're already making the assumption that if you're a realtor, you know what you're doing, right? That's it. I don't need to talk about it anymore. I need to talk about them and their needs and how I'm going to solve their needs and make it as painless as possible to make their path to home ownership as quick and smooth as possible, or selling their house. So that's where I really want, this takes some like self-reflection in the IR space, where, you know, I really want people to bring their eyes into it more, like more of your personality, more of like who you are as an individual into that, because your likability factor will go through the roof with, well, assuming you're a likable person. Like, if you have a personality to pull it off, I get it. There's some people that are only comfortable in a certain way in that role, but I would challenge you to do that. Yeah, connect with people instead of selling them. Exactly, nailed it. So that's where I would say lead with the human interaction. I know Jesse's amazing at that. So so that's kind of where, like, when I created my slogan for Offner Homes, it was like bringing it all together. Like that should be your goal. It's like I gotta, in order to bring something all together, you have to understand everything, that's all the moving parts. So that's allowed me to do that from a credit stand piece, where I look at someone who is credit challenged, the head trash that comes with being credit challenged, changing that to get them into a mindset where they can now purchase, getting them the pre-qual, and then taking them to the finish line. Like, there's no better feeling than doing that. Let's try to figure out who's not muted. It might be Deetra. Yeah, Deetra got I think got unmuted, or Gavin, I think. But yeah, so that's you know, that is the real important piece about going and analyzing how you are putting yourself out to your marketplace, and then leveraging that kind of the IR theory of marketing and prospecting yourself into your marketplace. The other component that I wanted to talk about a little bit too is, you got the spotlighting, you got the Facebook page. I have to build a relationship with you without talking to you, right? So let's say I'm moving into Philly. I start searching houses in Philly. My wife's searching schools. We're talking about different schools. What information are you putting out there in Facebook, cross-reference to YouTube? What educational information are you putting out there that someone can find you when they're searching for these things? So this is what I would challenge you to do, right? Think of it, there's two verticals going. One, credit, karmatic deposits. I'm going and I'm spotlighting a ton of businesses trying to get their attention. Once I have their attention, where am I sending them, right? I'm sending them to my educational series. So I would challenge you, all of you, to create, I'm looking, my content board. I create a content board where I'll put 10 pieces of content. And this you can get from polling your marketplace. Hey, I'm going to put some content out there. What do you guys want to hear about? Get 10 pieces of content. Shoot the videos, right? Take this little bad boy, throw your phone on. The iPhone 11 works fine. You don't have to go crazy. Set it up. If you look at any of my videos, this backdrop, these two signs are in most of my videos because I shoot it right here. And I'll shoot an educational video, boom, throw it on YouTube, tag it. I don't care about views. I don't care that it gets 100 million views. If it gets 15 views and 4 of them were people that called me and we did business, I don't care about likes or views. I care about transactions and people getting the information they needed to build a relationship with me without having to talk to me, right? So I'll tell you where this worked in my credit world. When I started pushing content, right, I did a whole series on credit. You can put in YouTube and Brian Offner. There's stupid amounts of interviews with realtors and educational stuff. People were calling me and going, hey, my wife and I just watched your videos. We're excited. We want to start the program. I go, great. Who are you? Like, they would literally already be comfortable talking to me, and I don't even know who they are yet. So, hey, you got to check out Brian Offner stuff. Brian Offner, boom, they watch the videos. They call me, hey, I'm ready to go. And I was like, oh, okay, that I get that. I would do that too. I would do my due diligence on someone. I would research and then call them and get comfortable. So maybe that's happening in your world where I've been referred to some realtors and I've cross-referenced some. And you try to find them on social media and it's like they're hiding. Like, and I don't care how much production you do, this next wave of people coming through that are going to be buying and selling houses, that's where they're going. They're going to go look it up. Who do I connect to the most? Who makes me feel the least scared? And that's who I'm going to go with. Someone that feels light. I need to give this light feeling off to my consumers, the people that are prospects. How do I make them feel? Right? You got your vanilla layup deals where it's, well, third party endorsed from somebody that knows you. Hey, you got to talk to teacher. She's awesome. She runs this place. Boom. You're going to get that all day long, right? But I'm talking about the link juice people. You know, this is how you experience growth in your business as it stands today. Keep doing what you're doing. 100% do it. You'll pull this business that you're pulling right now. Now we create this whole other vertical. It's different. These are, it's almost like, and not so much, but conceptually it's equivalent to like referral based business versus dial for dollar type business, if you know what I mean, like call center. In the mortgage world, this happens a lot where there's like Jesse's a relationship guy. We go out, we build relationships, and that's how we get our business. And there are some people that just like the Zillow. I guess it would be like a Zillow lead realtor that just buys a bunch of Zillow stuff. That's how they get their business. And if they don't close that, they have no other pipeline, right? So we're almost creating that vertical of doing both, but in a very different manner. Like we're not, one, I don't like paying for anybody, because my whole concept is if I'm paying you and what I'm paying you for was so good that it worked, why aren't you just doing it and taking all the business? So that's immediately where my brain goes. So I don't pay marketing companies. I go, all right, I'm just going to do it myself and create the business. So that's kind of where we want you to focus on, is do your educational series so that when you do have a prospect, you can drive them to build a relationship with you through different series, whether it's a retired couple downsizing into the city or moving out of the city, like coming into the city with kids, coming into the city with no kids, the parks, there's so many different videos you could do to grab this from the spotlight videos, the link juice, the businesses. They come over, experience this relationship with you. And now here's the best way. Like once you get 15 to 20 videos, it's the equivalent to having a listing for your business. If you know what I mean? To market, a listing is selling itself 24/7, right? We all agree with that. You throw a listing up, everyone's looking for it, right? Buyers, you have to go find a house, show up. But most of us, most realtors that I know, run their business like a buyer's agency. They got to, where's my next deal? I'm going to go. And there's nothing that's selling them 24/7. It's always just the next thing. And that's why it looks like a heart rate monitor with your business, is because there's no consistency to the message across the board. There's no, experience that's just hovering out there constantly that people can be drawn to. And then we start talking about SEO, and I probably in Philly, you guys focus on it a lot. I don't really focus on it too much, but if it's something that you would love to type in Realtor Philly and you pop up somewhere in the mix, that's what I'm creating, is basically the link juice that says, all right, my Instagram, and I'll show you guys how, like Instagram should be used strictly as a vertical to drive people for SEO, right? Get your Instagram followers up, no big deal. It's not lead gen, it's basically brand awareness, validation. For some reason, if like a consumer goes on your Instagram and you have 10,000 plus followers, they're like, that's validation of some sort, right? For a consumer. Then they go to your YouTube, you have videos. Then they go to your Facebook, and there's a mix of like, hey, this is like a real person. That is kind of what I'm trying to help you create, is this vertical of like 3 different places that all drive each other to either your page. And that's what the link juice technically is that the algorithm will read how many real transfers. If I go on Instagram and there's a click to my YouTube, I go on YouTube, there's a link to my Facebook. These are all the link juice that drive you up the SEO. And when you pay a company to create link juice for you, as soon as you stop paying it, they can cut all that juice and you just drop down, right? That when I learned that, I was like, no, I'm not, my business is not going to be a slave to somebody else getting paid to make sure I stay up there. I was like, if he's doing it, I'll figure it out and I'll do it myself. And then I'll show people how to do it and not charge them. I have like a real, like, look, I've been in this game for 15 years. I mostly worked with loan officers. And when I started working more with realtors, I was like, I'm never getting in the realtors' pockets. Like, you guys are like out there just like, I'm like, I'm not, my whole system will never be, it'll be help the realtor any way I can without getting in their pockets, right? Because I saw the dance between the loan officer and the realtor, and it's like, oh, I did a class for new agents, and I said, what does a loan officer like mean to you? Like, how do you find a good, well, they take you out to lunch and then they'll help your buyers. And I was like, all right, that's basically the equivalent of what you think a loan officer should be doing for you. And it's like, no, the right partnership, you should not be able to afford to lose your loan officer partner. Like that, to me, that's my job, is to make us such a part of your growth strategy that you can't afford to lose us. Because I see it all the time. Realtors are so quick to be like, oh, that deal got sideways, slice. That deal got sideways, next. And it's like, that's an issue to me from just a business model in general, right? If somebody's so quick to just slice somebody, that means there was no actual value there. Like so that's my job, is to make sure that we're creating the value. I'm not saying you have to stop working with any other loan officers that you're working with, right? I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about today moving forward and growth and supporting you in your growth. Do I think you'll end up sending another business over? Sure, it happens all the time, but that's not the focus. The focus is in what can we do to help you implement new prospecting strategies that are going to get more buyers, that we partner up. Jesse gives them the pre-qual, and you go, okay, this works. Like this machine, let's keep it rolling. We come out, we shoot the videos for you, we help you spotlight the different businesses. If you're savvy enough and you're cool with just grabbing your phone and doing them, do it. You know, if you're like, that feels a little heavy to me, but I get it that I need to do it, we'll do it for you. My whole division here, that's what we do. We have in the studio now, we have our green screen set up. So we have realtors come in, we shoot our green screen videos here, we'll come to you. That's for your 15 to 20 videos that you need to have in order to drive people from the link juice business owner to your personal stuff. And I don't know if you guys were on, if anywhere you're on, like I taught a video on how to make videos from your phone. I could show you guys. I won't do it now, but I have another Zoom call where I'll actually show you how to make the video. And actually, I think some of you were on this call. I think I recognize some of the names, but yeah, I mean, that's what, you know, we're talking about here is like, what can we do as AnnieMac, Brian Offner, and my division here is all the video and social media production. And kind of like, the reason I got into like the real estate space too was, one, obviously I'm creating a lot of opportunity, but like, how could I sit here today and say, how am I going to help realtors grow their business if I'm not, I end up being that marketing guy, right? I'm like, how can I actually show them idea, implementation, execution, real dollars? How do I do that if I don't do it in my own world? And so I do it in my own world. I test it in my own world. I have verticals going in York, Pennsylvania, Philly, Bucks County, Jersey, working on New York right now, Florida. I got Boynton Beach, Boca Raton. Like, I have agents that I'm working with and kind of testing, and we're able to kind of like see the best of the best of what's working in different markets, and then bringing it to you and saying, do it. And right now I'm telling you, if you could either think of something that's niche, like Moms of Haverford, Spotlight Female Business Owners, genius, it's working. I think she does 8 and 8. I could be wrong. I think her production's 16 million. It's pretty freaking good. They're, you know, all the way up to, you know, Laura Irwine, that's constantly doing great video stuff, putting herself out there, educating people on the market. Right now, just do Zoom calls if you have to, right? Just get on a Zoom call one-on-one. I just did one last week with an insurance agent. We talked about the importance of credit and how it affects your insurance premiums. And I just was able to cut up a bunch of clips to give to her to push to her market. I have some to push to my market. And we just created something in a Zoom call right now while we can't physically go out and shoot videos for people. I would definitely do that in a Zoom call. But I think I talked for like 40 minutes straight. So I'm gonna, any questions? I mean, you could fire them into the chat here, or just pop on your mic. We'll make it pretty informal. If anyone has any specific questions about like action steps, about this local businesses. So everyone's in Philly. So another concept too is we do a series called it's 5 o'clock somewhere, which is we just spotlight craft breweries. So if you look that up, that's an idea. So we just go to different brew pubs. We go in at like 11 o'clock. We interview the owner. We spotlight it. And what it does, it just drives all the craft beer to this specific realtor. He loves craft beer, so he's like the craft beer realtor. So it's just another idea to kind of figure out what is your niche. I pull a lot of business from the disc golf community, believe it or not. It's just another vertical on my Facebook page of a community that I'm in, and I'll just sprinkle in some stuff. I sponsor holes. I sponsor like anyone that's doing stuff. You just try to give back as much as you can. I had this one client. I don't know. I just asked, like, hey, because I'm always fascinated by business owners, and I would do this as well now. We could still pull it off, but I'm fascinated by other people having skill sets that people would pay them for. So if you look at one of my posts, go back a couple months, it's like, hey, what skill set do you have that somebody would pay you for, right? And that's basically how you become self-employed, right? You go, I'm really good at this. Let me sell it one time and then figure out how to sell it over and over, right? And one of the guys on my social media, which I know I pulled at least 2 deals from this whole exercise, if you will. And it wasn't even on purpose. I was just like, he makes, he does like woodwork. So he makes chairs and benches and stuff. And I just messaged him like, hey, like my daughter loves art. Will you make her like this art table? And he's like, yeah, no problem. Like, and honestly, I like forgot that I asked him to do it. And like 2 days later, he sends me this this piece that he had made, like basically this table for my daughter. It says Alina's Crafts on it. You know, really cool art table. And I was like, cool. I bought it, had him, I met him, got it, and my daughter absolutely loves it. And what it does so many things. If it, my background's in family counseling, and so my whole mindset is always like try to put people in a better place because they met you. I get it. Not everyone has that. Like some people are just savage, like deal, close. Like that's not my mentality. And probably if that's you, you might not like resonate with the message of like helping other people as a way of receiving. And that's my whole way of doing it. So there was another artist on Instagram who I had messaged him, like my daughter loves art, obviously, and she loves like unicorns and so I'd asked him, I'm just messaging him online, just asking him if he could create like a picture for my daughter to hang up on the wall. Supported him. I mean, there's certain things like you want to do. Again, that's like karmatic deposits. Like there's no, like those weren't things where, like, it's just like crazy art. Like he drew a picture of my daughter on a unicorn and I paid him $75 and he mailed it to me and now it's hanging up on my daughter's art wall. But if you find that on my Facebook feed, you just look at the messages and I know the people that are in that space that are commenting on that, they're my clients. I have my future clients engaging in something that is a give. And I know that's going to come back in some way. I'm not measuring it. I know who they are, but like, that's the type of stuff that, and I'm going to show you what not to do, right? This guy's been pissing me off and I'm going to show you. I'm going to put him on blast a little bit. Just because this is not the way to go about it. So there's this guy, maybe some of you are friends with him, but I don't care because I've been telling him he's doing it wrong. His name's Anthony Robinson, right? I think some of you guys might be friends with him. He's like a marketing guy in Florida, right? And he's like, I'm here asking for your support and your help. I will continue reaching out. I'll continue thanking him. So he's like, this week, you've shown me that I've shown that I'm not afraid to put my hand out and ask for help, right? So he basically on his Facebook, he's starting this realtor, which the concept might be good. He needs 13 grand to do virtual tours, right? So he supports the real estate space. He needs to raise money to do virtual tours where you'll be able to do them online. And his approach is like, he's basically going to unfollow you if you don't donate or share it. And it's like, dude, what deposits? Like, think of this conceptually. If he's just steamrolling people and then making them feel guilty if they don't donate or share his stuff, right? He's just steamrolled them. And I'm like, Anthony, I go, what have you gave a value to your network? And I talk about deposits and withdrawals. What deposits have you made to your network that you think you can ask them back for anything, right? This to me, like if nothing else, understanding the concept of deposits and withdrawals is so important when it comes to emotional and business deposits. Like you're going out with the karmatic deposits. We're making deposits in tons of businesses. You're giving good information to your audience. Give. When the time comes that you want to ask for something, you absolutely earn the right to ask. And I promise you tenfold people will want to help, right? But you should read some of the, like, people are like, who are you, dude? Like you're going to follow me? Like, he's just really aggressive asking when he hasn't made a deposit. And I'm seeing and validating my message that, like, dude, you got to give first. You got to lead with value. Like, you're asking hard, and a lot of realtors are guilty of that. Hey, the selfie of like, hey, closed, who's next? That's not about the client or the person that's next. That's about you. You don't see a dentist taking a selfie at the like doing a root canal and being like, root canal, hashtag who's next. Like, why do we not see that? Because we shouldn't be doing it. It doesn't make sense, but realtors will do it. door knocking. Like, however you feel about that, I'm sure it works. My feeling about that is I'm knocking on your door for me, not for you, right? So I kind of don't like that as strategy. Like I said, some people are savage and they don't care. That's cool. I'm talking about creating a sustainable business model that continues to bring in referrals because people know my eye, like me, trust me, and they'll refer me out. Not because I knocked on their door and steamrolled them into selling. Like that's not my style. It is somebody's, and that's cool if it's yours. But what I'm talking about is a whole nother vertical that's going to create long-term, success by focusing on the best interests of your audience. And that's kind of, I'm going to answer some questions now, but when I say educational content, where would you start to, if you particular, I mean, Anastasia, I would start by doing a video today saying, hey, Anastasia here. I know a lot of you guys aren't looking to buy, sell, or invest. I'm putting together an educational series that I'm going to start sharing some videos with you guys just to inform you about what's going on in the real estate space. What are some questions you have? You could talk about credit, right? People want to talk about what credit score do I need, right? You could do one on credit. You could do first-time home buyer. Hey, I don't think I can afford. Okay, well, what are you paying in rent now? Do an exercise and a video on rent versus own, and work on getting people on a game plan where right out of their rental, they're moving right into a house, right? Talk about lost opportunity of how much, if you paid rent for 3 years, what that number is of just equity you could have built versus, somebody else's mortgage you paid down. And then to me, sometimes even getting into the process a little bit. Hey, what happens if the appraisal doesn't come back at what we thought it would come back at, right? Some people don't even know houses need to be appraised, right? Like it's just, there's so many things that's why instead of trying to get into the head of the consumer and figure out what I think they want to hear, I just ask them. And you should do that in like everything. I even in relationships, right? I talk about deposits and withdrawals all the time. Last Friday, I know my wife, I've been working like crazy. My days have been long. And I could just tell, like I have a 4.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old at home, right? If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see. I know my wife needed a break, right? I knew it. I was overdrawn, like not me, just in general. Life was overdrawing from her. So I was like, hey, I'm going to grab the kids, go to the Poconos for the night. We'll come home for dinner, just give you some alone time. I was making a deposit into her headspace, and her and I talk all the time. Every Sunday, we have talk business, we check in, we're just kind of always making sure we're okay, right? And that's what you got to do with your business. Make some deposits. Your referral partners, just don't assume that it's going to keep coming. Check in. Hey, everything good? Have I made some deposits in your world? And because if you're in a position of receiving from people, I would definitely check in and just make sure that they feel fulfilled as well, because that's when they walk away. And I've seen this, like, you would talk about IR theory as well, the role of mother, right? My wife stopped working and she's a stay-at-home mom, and I over push her to check in with herself to make sure that she knows who Lynette is. Like, don't lose, like, there's things that Lynette does that's important. There's things that you have to do for yourself. Don't get caught up in this role of mother. Like, you need the alone time. You need your stuff. Like, you have to recognize that whole entire IR model to understand that, like, an R can be a dangerous thing. It could be a really dangerous thing if you get stuck in the R. You need the other things. And it's just like balance. Like, if it's time you wake up to the time you sleep, all you're thinking is real estate. It's like, no, you're missing the nutrition piece. Go to the gym, take care of your head, unplug for a little bit, so that when you plug back in, you're able to strategically hit that prospecting, like, boom. And if you're struggling to get started on, like, Anastasia, like, just time block, like literally say, all right, Wednesdays from 1 to 3, I'm shooting videos, right? And it just relieves all the pressure of when am I going to do it. Wednesdays from 1 to 3, it's when Blaze and I actually shoot our podcast in here. We just time block it. And we know I'm going to do these behaviors, right? So what ends up happening is you get in at 1 o'clock and you do what you just asked me. Well, what should I be shooting? It's 1 o'clock. Crap, I'm supposed to be shooting videos. Like, that's why I said do the content board. I promise you, I've already done all this where I'm at my time where shoot a video and I'm like, what am I going to shoot? What am I going to shoot? Crap. Oh, Facebook, email. Oh, next thing you know, you're like, boom, sidetracked. So that's why you have a content board. You look at your content board and say, oh, credit, rent versus own, boom, make a couple notes, let's go. And we have a saying, like, as you shoot these videos and you put them together, the saying is called FI-SI, just F it, send it. Like, don't overanalyze the video. Don't be like, oh, like I see my hands like flying in this video. Like, I know I talk with my hands, but that's me. So I just do it. So whatever you shoot a video, just send it out. Don't worry about any little quirks. Everyone already knows what you look like. They already know what you sound like. Just send it. Get it out there. I promise you it will be well received because people like the informative stuff. Oh yeah, another thing too, content wise, this is another one that I would probably post. I would post asking for content. I would probably do a little state of the market video too, just saying, hey, just want to give you guys a heads up. It's still very much a seller's market. I just feel like there's this ravaged animal of buyers getting ready to just hit the marketplace. So if you want a free market analysis, let me know, and I can let you know what your house is worth in this market. Like, do that state of the market video as well. But definitely post about refis. Like, realtors miss this one all the time. Like, refis lead the listings and sales like all day long. So I did a post. I was just like, hey, I'm not saying you should refi, but you should refi, right? And boom, I think I had 7 or 8 people hit me up in my messages. I was able to refer out some refis, which isn't a bad thing, especially Jesse will reciprocate more so than anyone I know. But the one client I had, he lived in Bethlehem, PA. He wanted to put a 2-car garage. He had like $100,000 in equity. He wanted to refi it out, build a 2-car garage. We checked the zoning. You couldn't build anyway, even if you wanted to. So we ended up listing the house, and he purchased a house in Easton that had a big, you could fit like 8 cars in this thing, but it was exactly what he wanted with 2 lifts. And that was all for refi post. So that's why I want you to like think about, talk to your insurance person, interview them, talk about like, even though I don't like attorneys, if you have them, interview one of them, like just start introducing other professionals into your network and spotlighting them throughout, and you'll just start pulling in other business. Do a refi post, talk about credit, talk about anything. Don't just talk about real estate, talk about the whole gamut that's going to keep people's attention and make them think of you whenever one of these things pops up. Call them spoke on a wheel. Like, you're in the center, you want to have these spokes on the wheel of why somebody would connect with you. And if your only spoke is real estate, like you're missing out on a lot of opportunity, either to refer out to your network or it ends up being a real estate deal, for sure. So, any other questions? Because now I feel like I'm really babbling. To me, it's all about execution. Like, just you have to execute. Like, ideas are great, right? Like, ideas are. I just gave you a bunch of ideas, right? But if you don't do any of them, it's like thinking about going to the gym. Like, it sounds great, but if you don't actually go, you're not going to get any results. But there's just some little tweaks that promise you it's not as painful as the gym. But what I'd be doing right now, and it's this COVID shutdown, is just shooting videos at home. Start getting comfortable with putting yourself on camera and just doing little educational pieces and dropping them on Facebook. Take a topic and go live. If you want to do a credit piece with me, and you want to go live on your audience talking about credit and how we can help improve your credit score so that you can buy, get out of renting, boom, done. Let's set that up and do it. I mean, it's just some really, there's tons of ideas to do to captivate your audience. So pull your audience, see what they want in return, and then go from there. So, but yeah, I'm going to wrap it. I think we went an hour. I think that's solid. If anyone, Jesse, everyone has your contact information. So yeah. If anyone, go ahead.
I put everything, I put all our contact information in the notes. If anybody has any questions at any time about any of this content, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Brian. My cell phone, our emails are both on there. We appreciate you guys coming on the call and learning with us. If you need anything, just reach out at any time. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a productive